think that Indiana is going to have to level up its collective, and they've already done that. The Hoosiers for Good has done some very good work with that and making Indiana a player in the NIL game. We've seen that in basketball recruiting, and now I think some of that money is going to football as well, right? There was a story in ESPN just the other day about Indiana hosted a fundraiser that was $100,000 to get in, if I understood the article correctly, and I think they had 34 people there, so you can kind of do the math on that. Now, I think that is going to the athletic department and not the collective, but you can see that there's extra motivation to fund the football team and make sure they have what they need. And Indiana is not a poor athletic department. They have the money to do this. It's just a question of, obviously they're not going to be Ohio State. They're not going to be Alabama or Georgia, but they have the money to be a player in kind of that second or high third tier. And there are good players to be had there. And so it's just a question of how can you get organized on the football side of it fast enough to really be a player.
Yeah, the collectives, especially the collective like in Indiana, that needs time to kind of ramp up, as opposed to having deep pockets at a school like Ohio State or Tennessee or Alabama. It takes some of these collectives a little while to get themselves in a position where they can offer at least decent, packages in that regard. Something that's totally new to me. Don't know how I would have handled some of this stuff. And I think ultimately that's what ultimately drove Nick Saban out of the equation. It was the game of college football had changed to the point where he felt he didn't recognize it anymore. And to a certain degree, he's right. But these are all things that we're going to have to keep our eyes on as it pertains to that, because it's such an ever evolving situation that involves the NCAA, the governing body, and college football as a whole, and how that may shake out. And